Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And in this podcast, I'll talk about 3 simple ways to learn English. Okay, then, you already know I'm Mr. Rob, and I'll be your teacher for this one. So let's move on with the lesson. So let's jump right into the lesson, okay? So the first thing we're going to be talking about is reading. And I'm going to tell you guys how you can learn English from reading. I know it sounds simple because everybody thinks, oh, I know how to read. But do you learn when you read? That's the question you need to ask yourself. The first thing you can learn from reading is vocabulary. English vocabulary is very important when you're doing it, when you're learning it, and when you're speaking it, right? English vocabulary, it depends if you're a native speaker or you're a new learner, because a native speaker speaks a different way from a new learner. You know what I'm saying? They won't have the same vocabulary because the native speaker grew up in the English language or the English culture, while the newcomer is trying to adapt to that culture or that English language. You see what I'm saying? So, number 2, learning sentence patterns, because there are certain ways that people form sentences when they're talking or when they're writing, right? If you know what I mean, you know what I mean, right? When I'm talking about sentence patterns, right? I'm talking about, for example, let's say you're writing an essay, right? You're writing an essay and I'm the native speaker and I say that right there is an okie doke. Now you're like, whoa, you're not a native speaker. You would not know what that meant. And if you had wrote an essay, you would never have written anything like that. You would never have written anything like that at all. You see what I'm saying? So learning sentence patterns is very important when you're reading, because when you're reading, you learn the exact mindset of an American or a native English speaker. You get what I'm saying? All right. Number 3, you will learn real life conversations and word phrases, because when you're reading a book, usually a book is a story, right? So that means that when you're reading, you're learning how people talk. Because in books, in stories, the characters are usually having conversations with each other. And while you're reading, you will learn real life conversations. Because imagine that you don't know how to say certain things or how to speak to certain people, or you didn't know how to say, hey, hello, how are you doing? You didn't know how to say any of that. But by reading a book, for example, a short story, you learned, oh, that's how they greet people in English. I did not know that. Now I know I'm going to greet people this way. You see what I'm saying? So the last thing is grammar. Grammar is so important. I don't care who you are. You want to achieve perfect grammar in the English language, because without grammar, most of the times people will not understand you and they will just nod their heads or they will space out trying to understand what you're saying. Grammar is key. You must know all the rules of English, and reading will teach you all the rules subconsciously. You'll just be learning while reading. But that is if you decide to learn subconsciously, because your brain does do it automatically. But if you're not aware of it, you will never be able to learn or use these skills. So make sure you are recognizing certain grammar so that you can fix your grammar mistakes when you're speaking. All right, that's it for number 1. Let's go to the second pointer. Pointer number 2. Watching movies and TV series. You guys need to know, when you're watching a movie or TV series, it can help you improve your listening, because listening is key in English. Because it sucks when the person is speaking to you and you cannot understand a word they're saying, and then you can't even respond after that. That's one. But the second one is that it sucks when you're listening and you're not learning on how the person speaks. You're not learning on how the person pronounces the words, because when listening, you will learn how to pronounce words. There are certain words you did not know how to pronounce. By listening to a native speaker, you will be able to pronounce them. So I want you guys to make sure you are paying close attention to when someone, or when you're watching a movie or TV series, on what they're saying, on how they pronounce the words as well, because pronunciation is key to making someone understand everything you're saying. Pronunciation is key to making people see that you are a native speaker, or you're not a native speaker, because a native speaker speaks very well and a person that's not native or fluent will not speak well at all. And you have to learn the different tones when speaking, because the people speak a certain way. They speak a certain way when they're mad, they speak a certain way when they're happy, or when they're sad. You have to pick that up. You got to pick that up because once you learn the tones, now when you speak to someone, you will be able to speak like a fluent or native speaker. Like, for example, let's say that I'm mad. Like, hey, don't talk to me like that again, all right? Look at the tone. Did you hear the tone of the voice? The tone is showing you how mad I am. My voice got deeper. It's not nice anymore. So that's what picking your tones and learning the different tones can do. So, grammar. I already talked about grammar already, but you need to know the importance of grammar. Without grammar, your speaking will never improve. Or without grammar, you will never be labeled as a native speaker or a fluent speaker. So make sure you got the grammar to back it up. Now let's go on to pointer number 3. Make sure you guys are listening to motivational speeches, because the reason I say motivational speeches is because you will learn a high degree of sentence patterns. These people have such high vocabulary. They have such high understanding of how to use words in order for you to understand what they're saying. Their words are unbelievable. And if you are listening to them daily, you will develop these speech patterns, no matter what I'm telling you. Their sentence patterns are so high level. Like, for example, have you ever heard Denzel Washington speak? To see how the man speaks, he shows you that he has a high degree of speaking. You could have seen that he went through a lot of speech classes. So the way he speaks is so subpar. You would think he's like a president, right? You know how presidents talk, right? Presidents talk with such adequacy, and when they speak, it's like you're not even there. It's like, dang, everything this person says is motivating me. And the only thing that motivational speeches can do for you, in generally speaking, is that they motivate you. And because they motivate you, it makes you listen. So it improves your listening because of the way they're speaking, because of the tone, and usually because of the music they put in the background of their speeches. These things right here, they add up some way, somehow, to make you listen and to make you learn everything they say. It's so hard to believe this, but you may even remember many points about the speech more than you can remember about a movie you watched a year ago. And you probably heard this speech 3 or 5 years ago. See what I'm saying? So make sure you guys listen to motivational speeches. They will help you when speaking English. Okay, guys. Well, that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Stay eagerly to learn.